Hello, and welcome to Starting Points, where one thing leads to another. Here's some examples. Gardening wizardry for kids. Well, it is quite magical when you think about it. Some seeds are so tiny, and from it comes a plant. Some seeds are quite big, like an avocado seed, but some are tiny. So, this is a great guide, I think. L. Patricia Kite conceived it. The book has a spiral binding, which makes it really handy. You can, it'll lay flat open. And the contents: history and folklore of common fruits and vegetables, general history of food plants, apple, avocado, bean, carrot, celery, corn, grape, lettuce, onion, orange, pea, peach, peanut, potato, pumpkin, radish, spinach, sweet potato, tomato, watermelon. And then I'll give you an example. This is the orange. Now, I didn't know about the orange getting its way into Europe, but the first oranges that got there, they were not sweet oranges. And until 1616, did anyone in Europe ever taste a sweet orange? At that time, they were brought in by the Dutch East India Company from China. They were a big hit immediately. Then there is some argument over who first brought oranges to North America. It's most generally believed to have been the Spanish explorer Hernando de Soto, who planted oranges where he camped in Florida. All oranges planted by the early explorers were bitter oranges. Now, goes on some more. And some it's filled with interesting information, and of course citrus and scurvy, the seafarer's rescue food. And it wasn't until it was first discovered by a doctor, John Lind, in the British Navy, that if sailors drank lemon or orange juice or ate fresh fruit every day, they didn't become ill with scurvy. But because that was sort of fancy food and perishable food, oranges don't travel well for a long time. And lots of sea captains weren't about to change and do that, even though on some exploration sea voyages, almost half the sailors died from scurvy alone. So scurvy continued to kill more seamen than the battles they got into with enemy ships. But Cook made the point that while he had supplies, that his sailors were free of scurvy, of fresh lemons. And the British word for a sailor became limey, because in 1774, lime juice was often part of the food ration. So, and so on, the pea. So that's a great part of the book. Then, fun with kitchen fruits and vegetables starts on page 70. And what they've got here is how to grow, what you need, what to do to grow the avocado plant. Indoor plant growing basics, and then avocado, beet, carrot, ginger root, lemon, orange and grapefruit, mango, onion, peach, peanut, pineapple, pomegranate, potato, radish, sweet potato. I mean, what you gotta like the variety, and it's shows you how to go about it. And then indoor plant growing experiments with food seeds, and these are experiment sorts of things you look at in raising earthworms, pill bugs, and snails, and herbs, herb history, folklore, and growing instructions of a list of herbs there, and plant craft projects, seed wreath, and flower eggs, and gorgeous gourds, and so forth. Seed catalogs. Now this was published like nearly 30 years ago, so that might not be of use, but the ideas and information are a good treasure chest. And here's another book I would want to recommend as well. Alice Waters' Edible Schoolyard, A Universal Idea. Now by that means that she ran a restaurant, and nearby there was a school, and she thought, wouldn't it be nice if some part of the school playground was used for a garden, that then students would have that first-hand experience of growing foods and could incorporate that in school lunch programs and things of this nature. A lot of science, a lot of growing things. So, and it proved very successful, and this book talks about that. The message is maybe not universal yet, but it has reached Victoria. 2 high schools that I know of, maybe more, have, one is a triangularly built high school with a courtyard inside, so they don't have to worry about deer. And the students run everything involved with that, and harvest and try to incorporate what they've harvested into things that people can get in the cafeteria. The other school doesn't have that design, and they have actually fenced with a tall fence quite a large area, and the students, same thing, hands-on, down-to-earth learning that's lifelong. The skills can serve children throughout their lives. This book is another book I'd like to highly recommend, the Victory Garden Kids book. It is by Marjorie Waters, and I wondered if she was any relation to Alice Waters. I don't know, but this book is laid out with instructions for various plants, outdoor planting we're talking about here, including petunias and marigolds and things like that, lettuce, of course, eggplants, chives, cabbage, beans, and laying out of the garden and when it's ready and harvesting and how do you know, and it's just got a wonderful basic information that can help to make the growing of a garden a successful experience. I think that's extremely important for those things that one tries to do with growing things, that we try to make it as successful as possible. It's not that things won't happen, but you want to try to do that. And so here are 3 successful growing experiences. Tolstoy's story, The Great Big Enormous Turnip, illustrated by Helen Oxenberry. There's the turnip. Just a funny story. great even to be read to 2-year-olds and 5-year-olds and kindergarten class, acting out the different characters that come to join into harvesting that. Walter de la Mare wrote many stories, very creative stories, sometimes taking off from already an additional, already a well-known story. I remember 2 of his further stories about Jack and the Beanstalk, and I thought, boy, that's a clever telling. And this one's the turnip, and it's illustrated by Kevin Hawks, and as you can see, a successful growing of a giant turnip. And this story, June 29th, 1999, by David Wisner. And I'm not going to show you any of the pictures other than just what's here. He is an extremely creative, fertile imagination, and his artwork keeps pace with his imagination. And this is a delightful book of a success story of a girls' project. Well, thanks for joining me. Until next time, bye for now.